Yes, and welcome to Common Courtesy TV. Now, this is the Tampa Bay area podcast on LGBTQ plus culture and society. I am your host and moderator, Sean Nicholas, aka Desire Some More. Along with me, I also have my thank you. Along with me, along with me today, I have my awesome co-host. I have entrepreneur. I have show director and equality activist. I have Angelique Young.
Hi, hello. So happy to be back for another fun week of debatable topics.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, what we're seeing in Tampa Bay area as the Tampa Bay Pride just wrapped up this weekend, you were a part of that. Florida is still kind of rife with a culture war over sexual orientation and gender identity as Florida lawmakers fight to extend seek to extend the parental rights and education law, a law that prohibits the discussion and instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity right now through grades kindergarten and third grade. The expansion would prohibit discussion and instruction through grades 12, even in high school, unless the topics are required by existing state standards or if they're part of classes on reproductive health, which students can choose not to take. Now, this kind of to me begs the question, that I've always kind of had is when is it the right age or grade to educate and to discuss gender identity? And before we get to that question, I kind of want to let everybody know that our hearts are our hearts are with the victims of the Nashville shooting at the Covenant School. We need more gun reform in this country. We'll be talking more about that in the coming weeks. So, like I said, our question today we're going to be talking about is when is it the right age or grade to discuss sexual orientation? And it's not in that, but also gender identity. Before we get to this, I want to play a commercial, go to commercial from our Tampa Bay gay sponsor, Dave Barman. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Dave with Tampa Bay Gay. We're out here at Tampa Pride 2023 where you can see the party has begun. We're going to check things out here while you check out this week's LGBTQ plus events.
The Tampa International Gay and Lesbian Film Festival's third annual Transgender Film Festival is March 31st through April 2nd. The opening night VIP reception is at 5:30 at Thrive in St. Pete. Then, the world premiere of Your Love at the Greenlight Cinema in St. Pete. The three-day event includes both in-person and virtual screenings. The program is live now. Spring is in the air, and this month's Come Out St. Pete Sunday Tea Dance fundraiser will be on April 2nd, 4 p.m. at Zoe's in St. Pete. At 5:30, the 2023 Royal Court hits the stage. At Metro, Wednesday the 29th at 7 p.m. is the Gay and Bi Men's Discussion Group meeting at the Tampa location. Then on Saturday the 1st is virtual yoga classes via Zoom at 9 a.m. Other events include Queer Teen Hangout Night, The Tea, 50-plus card games, and more. Then save the date, the Outshine Film Festival's Miami edition is April 20th through 30th. Great discounts on staycation packages from sponsoring hotels. Support our local LGBTQ film festival and join us for their 25th anniversary.
We're about to run inside to the Cuban Club. Check out the rest of Tampa Pride. If you missed it, check out our Instagram page. Thanks for watching. We'll see everybody next week.
Visit TampaBayGay.com for local events, the latest digital content, and more. Also, please like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, but that music actually slaps. I was over here jamming out. I was like, he got this commercial is kind of fire. I'm like, I'm definitely going to check out the Instagram. I'm going to check out all the information after this. This is cute. I love it.
I
Thank
love
you once
Dave.
again, David. Thank you so much.
I love Dave. I love Dave. So let's get back onto the conversation of this week. So, like I said, since Florida lawmakers are pushing to expand the Don't Say Gay law or the Parental Rights and Education bill, which will prohibit discussions and or instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity, I wanted to ask, they want to expand it to grade 12. I wanted to ask, when is the right age or grade to discuss sexual orientation and gender identity? Let me ask you, Angelique, what do you think?
I mean, it's unfair to many people within the the population of children to designate what we feel is right for them in certain aspects, especially because a lot of women start to experience, falling into the category of womanhood at young ages, some as young as 11, 12, and 13. So we're looking at sixth graders and seventh graders whose bodies are changing. They're starting to formulate feelings. They're starting to have different thoughts, ideas, or just instinctual pulls towards things that they don't understand. And you're asking the people who are intended to teach them and to help them understand something to pull back on that and put that in the hands of their parents. But I mean, I speak for myself, but I think a lot of people can resonate with the idea that there are a lot of conversations I did not feel comfortable bringing to my mother and my father, that I felt comfortable bringing to my sex ed teacher, that I felt comfortable bringing to my counselor, or to another adult who understood what I was going through. Seeing other people like myself in my school made a difference for me. It made me feel comfortable. It helped me find solid ground in an uncertain time where people make fun of you because your hair is different, or your skin is different, or you're going through changes like acne, or you're going through body changes like your boobs get bigger, or your butt gets bigger, or something starts to grow naturally. Something that should be embraced and loved and celebrated is something that is used as shame. And if there's no education about that, how can we ensure the protection of these children you're trying to protect from this information? And then lastly, I think I said, sixth grade is when it really should start, regardless of how anyone feels, because people need to know what's coming. If you want to save gender identity for later, fine, okay, ninth grade, because they're starting to become young adults. And they need to be prepared for the world that they're going to step into. If we tell them that it's all roses and then they step outside and see desolate land, we've failed these children. We've literally not given them the proper tools to be educated enough to go out and create their own garden. So my deal is sixth grade minimum for sex ed purposes, or health purposes, not sex ed per se, but body, biology, everything that about the human nature of it. And then I say high school for sex ed, as far as actual protection and education on STDs and education on gender identity and where they fall in line, because they're going to have those feelings whether you stop them or not. They should be empowered with proper information and education.
Absolutely. I'm having some connection issues. I got to call these people. But I would have to agree with you. Around, you said sixth grade, especially I learned reproductive sexual health in fifth grade. I think sixth grade is a good age, but it's funny we say that because a principal in Tallahassee was just fired over a Renaissance art lesson that featured Michelangelo's statue of David. So, I mean, it was just it was a statue of a naked man. And some people said it was pornographic. So, but I still agree with you, because when we're talking about sexual health, and not just reproductive health, but STIs, like you mentioned earlier, that is something to absolutely be talked about at sixth grade, at least at eighth grade, because I remember going to high school, I saw a lot of people, who were non-binary, She's
breaking my whole setup here, trying to get to the charger. Sorry.
Those kids, good. So, like I was saying, like when I went to high school, there was a lot of people that were non-binary, and who were out and open as being gay. I think that having a discussion, and even like a small discussion of like, who people are, especially in social studies, because like you said, we want to introduce people to what they're going to see in the world. And by not educating people enough, they're going to react based on fear, as we're seeing, and fear turns into a lot of hate. I think that by expanding this bill, definitely creates a target on the back of LGBTQ plus students, and not only students, adults as well, because you're basically saying that this person is prohibited. This person is just a pornographic person. You can't even talk about them. So if you're going to create a law like that, and they're going to learn that in school, that you can't have that discussion. So when is it the right time? So I mean, they're going to be talking about, gay and everything like that anyways, because people called me gay even before I knew what it meant when I was like 6, 8 years old. You know what I mean? I think it'll be prudent to have education on it, because then, excuse me, I think it's prudent to have education and also not a full on conversation, but a productive conversation about different cultures and different parts of society. Because, like I said, if it's just going to create more violence. And like you said earlier, being around people who were gay and who were trans and just different made me able to accept myself. So I just kind of think that expanding into 12th grade is crazy, because people are having sex and doing all that nasty way before
having babies.
having babies, getting STIs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very unrealistic with this law. I'm gonna go back to you, Angelique.
Yeah, no, I think to kind of close up on it for myself, I think when you think about how these things are formulated in natural life, I mean, it's going to end up in Florida's going to end up being a dystopian world. It's going to end up being like movies like The Giver, where everything is so tightly knit that people are going to yearn for more. I really do, honestly, in an ironic way, I really do feel like Florida's falling into this little footloose kind of situation where they're trying to narrow down people's wants and desires and needs, and really kind of formulating it to be a whatever you do in the closet is fine, or behind closed doors is fine, but just don't share it with the world. Don't share that information. If you want to teach, if you're a parent and you want to teach your kid sex ed at 6th grade, you can. But I think in the power and the problem with that is that you say that as if children will not speak to each other. You say that as if they won't teach each other what things mean. Kids teach each other what curse words are. They teach each other about their family problems. They teach each other about everything. Kids are open books when they're younger. So they're more likely to share your situation with their friends over keeping their mouths shut. And I think when you put people in that position, people are going to choose to do certain things and say certain things. And I mean, and at this rate, what's next? Are you guys going to start injecting the church into school? Are you going to start injecting politics into school? It's getting to be a lot of other people controlling and opinionating what people do in something that's supposed to be a free state. It's something I heard a lot in Tallahassee, is this: we're supposed to be this free state, and it's America, home of the brave and free, where anybody can be anything they want to be, unless you're doing one of this X, Y, and Z. So
Absolutely,
it's starting to be a little bit of a setback, but with hope, I say, anytime somebody pulls you back a few steps, get ready to be slingshot even further into the future. So come what may, I really do see this as just a setup for something spectacular to happen in the future.
Well, absolutely, because we all know that Governor DeSantis is running for president, and I cannot wait to see him get ate up on the political stage, because other politicians is going to disagree with this, because you're attacking, basically putting a target on the backs of your constituents. I just have to say that for me, this whole, when it first started, kindergarten through 3rd grade, no discussions on sexual orientation and instruction, I can kind of get behind that. But when we started,
who's doing it anyway?
Right, but like at the same time, it's like I can kind of get behind it only because of the fact that, like, certain subjects, I can say that perhaps that it may be too adult, perhaps, but when you're getting to talking about 5th grade, and then you're 6th grade, and then you're in 9th grade in high school, you're a young adult at that moment. So we're not going to be educated. I think that when I was growing up, a better conversation about sexual orientation would have been a productive one, where it's like, where can you have conversations about bullying? I was bullied and heckled every day of my life in school, and nobody jumped in to say anything. And with this bill, it kind of makes it okay, because then the teacher can't really say, this is wrong, and explain as to why. So I agree with you. This is a setup for something spectacular, probably a presidential bid, but hopefully. Go ahead.
Oh, no. One thing I want to say, as somebody who's been in Tallahassee, and I was actually present during the original presentation of this bill, and now I'm really excited to go back to Tallahassee this weekend and speak to those same representatives about this. But initially, when this was presented, we said, you said it was about the kids, it was about protecting kids. But if they're in K-3, you have to let kids be kids, and kids pretend, they play dress up, right? So then when we were there and they're talking about expanding it to the 8th grade, they promised us that this wasn't about, erasing the gay community. This wasn't about erasing the information on them. This wasn't about taking them from the history. It was just about protecting the children from being introduced to it too early, which I get and I can respect, because I don't want to have that conversation with my kids right now, right? But in the same hand, when they're ready, they're ready, and I can't tell a kid when they're ready, right? So going into that next phase of saying, like, when they're adults, I'm like, we all know that that's way too late. Puberty happens at age 13. At age 13, they're in like 7th and 8th grade. I mean, they're really going into the 9th grade. They're getting ready to be adults, and high school is meant to prepare them for the future in the world. If you take that away from them, you truly do take away a crucial part about learning, and that's a disservice to the children. You don't want them to graduate Florida and go outside to any other state and realize that they've been bamboozled or they've been lied to or made to feel like their heart or attraction or their feelings were dismissed completely, So
yeah, and this is actually what they are doing, and it's kind of like a continuation of what I experienced growing up in Florida. Because I think you grew up in PA, right, in Pennsylvania. Growing up
in New York and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, growing up in this bitch in this state, like I thought I was the only gay person, or like I thought it was like maybe a handful, right? A sprinkle of gay people. I go to New York and like become an adult and go to Orlando. There's a whole there's a whole fucking world. And I agree with you. I think the real question is, when do we allow people to talk about real society? When is that the real question? You know what I mean? Society exists more than just Jewish people, Christianity, Asian, Black, white, woman. It encompasses everything. So I often say that this topic is more of a social studies issue, because we didn't bring our sexuality into the social realm. These politicians did. Everybody does. If you're gay and you apply for a job, that's a fucking problem to some people. It's already a part of society. So if we're gonna have true social studies, then that's got to be a part of it. If it's not, then it's bullshit. But anyways, we ran out of time today for today's episode. I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. Also, as well, I want to thank my co-host Angelique, and we will see Nikki next week. And good luck to you, Angelique, in Tallahassee. I know that, like, going into those circles, well, not even going to that circles, having that conversation in front of lawmakers is scary, and it almost seems like you cannot surmount that type of event. But you seem to be doing pretty well, and I hope to join you to like continue speaking on these things, because honestly, it's gonna just promote more violence. That's what fear and ignorance do in this country, and we've seen that over generations.
I would love it if we actually could potentially film an episode in Tallahassee on a Tuesday. I think it would be great for us to go. And if you're interested in doing that, I know Equality Florida would be more than happy to have us and to record the day and have a conversation at night about it. And we could post it all over social media. I'm more than happy to help you make sure that happens if you're interested.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trying to get this money so I get my little license back so I can be driving on that bitch. I really
you ain't got to worry about that. They take us up there. They'll make sure you're taken care of. I got you on that one. You ain't got to worry about sit in the passenger seat and direct the show when we get there. If that's what you want to do, I will make it happen.
Oh, I am down for that. So like I said, we ran out of time. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for some of the comments on the last video. Like I said, if you don't like gay people, don't marry a gay person. If you don't like drag queens, don't go to a drag show. But honestly, we are all Americans, and when it comes down to it, we should be fighting for rights for everybody. Because when they come for your rights, my rights, they'll come for yours. Because that's just how it goes. Anyways, we'll see you next time. And like I always like to say, try to have a little bit more common courtesy. Have a good week.